Hey y'all, thanks for watching. I wanted to go ahead and show y'all what we were making for dinner tonight. Tonight we were going to be making buffalo chicken meatballs with some roasted potato wedges. I decided to do it this way because Baby Bear was not really in the mood for a recording at this time, which is totally fine. We're not going to push that on him or anything, but we had had a long day at the park and everyone was exhausted, so he was hanging out with Dad and I was just working on dinner. He does pop in the video a little bit later, so if you guys want to stick around for that. I just washed and scrubbed my potatoes, and then now I am cutting them in 3 sections down the sides and then one down the middle, and then again horizontally to kind of create this sort of shape. Usually wedges are a little bit bigger, but I was just kind of going willy nilly with it and just sort of wanted that wedge shape, but nothing too serious because we only had so many potatoes. All right, so I've got my tray with parchment. I'm drizzling olive oil all over my potatoes. I'm gonna season them up with some salt and pepper, garlic powder. I am a huge seasonings girlies, especially on potatoes, so you will never catch me without seasonings. Onion powder here, and then paprika. Trust me, there's a lot of seasonings on this. I just wanted to cut the video down shorter, and then I'm just gonna use my hands and mix it up. Usually I like to use tongs and stuff, but I was not in the mood to be washing a bunch of dishes tonight. So there we go, completely coated in that seasoning. We're gonna pop them in the oven. I had the oven set for 400 degrees, and I went ahead and set those potatoes in for 20 minutes. And just so that way I can get the chicken meatballs going. In my bowl, I had ground chicken, pre-ground already, added salt, pepper, sort of just to taste, and then some breadcrumbs, enough to kind of form these into balls. And then again, just going straight in with my hands, honestly. Was not in the mood to wash a bunch of dishes. I really should get gloves for stuff like this. I just did not think about it whenever I went and grabbed my ground chicken that I'd be doing this with my hands. So yeah, we're gonna mash that all up, and then just pinching off enough to form these into meatballs. The original recipe said it was gonna be about 8 meatballs, but I was able to get I think it like 16 or 19 meatballs out of that. So it's kind of crazy that they said 8 meatballs. Those meatballs must have been massive. Um, yeah, we've got the chicken meatballs, rolling them into balls. What did y'all make for dinner tonight? Leave some comments down below so I know what to make next week. Me getting distracted by my kiddo because he wants to talk to me while making dinner, but he doesn't want to be helping me make dinner. And I sped this up so y'all can see like me rolling them, but we don't want to sit here and wait for the amount of time it took. It wasn't actually that bad. It wasn't very long, but it did feel very tedious when I was recording and editing later, so just figured I'd speed that up, you guys. And then wash your hands, please. Also, everyone say hey to Misty, my cat. She's like 10 or 11 years old. Um, Besides the fact that she yells a lot, she's a pretty good kitty. All right, here we go. About 2-ish tablespoons of butter, and then buffalo sauce. We used Frank's Buffalo. Measure with your heart, however much you think you can cover meatballs with. I feel like I put too much in this bowl, but I was really, you can watch me, the thought process. Did I use enough? Was that too much? Was that too little? Well, I can't put it back. If you can't laugh at yourself, I don't know what you can do. Peep the toys in the background that my kiddo liked to throw into the back frame. All right, now it is time to, in 20 minutes, pop those chicken meatballs in the oven with those potatoes. Potatoes are still roasting, and we added about 15 minutes to that timer. So potatoes overall were in for about 35 minutes. Took me a few tries to get this butter melted the way I wanted it to because we wanted a nice and smooth consistency. Um, yeah, so we're gonna, and then you're gonna see, just a second, a little toddler scoot in here with his little helper stool.
You, you, you make it?
Yeah, I'm mixing.
Oh,
Alright, that was pretty much all we got. He just came up and asked like 5 times if I was mixing, and then he wanted a hug, and then he hopped back off screen. So here is how it's looking. I went ahead and left his meatball on the side. I cut it up in about 6 pieces, gave him a few potatoes and some watermelon for his dinner. And honestly, huge toddler recommendation food here because he ate the entire meatball, he ate all his potatoes, and he got seconds, and he ate all of his watermelon. So, if y'all are looking for something that's a little more kid approved, chicken meatball is essentially a chicken nugget without a ton of extra breading, so I would recommend that. And now I've just coated those meatballs in the sauce that I had made earlier. And then these are all the meatballs that I ended up making, and I'm just extra saucing them. And then I ended up did having more sauce than needed, but it was kind of perfect because my husband really loves extra dressings and stuff. So he ended up just dipping like all of his potatoes, bite everything in that sauce. So first bite of potato, this is so good, y'all. A little bit crispy on the outside, a little bit of soft on the inside, seasoned really well. And then first bite of the chicken meatball. So stinking good. They were so great. Everybody loved them. So thank you so much for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye.